Okay, let's be real. We've all been there, right? You're stuck talking to a chatbot, and it just does not get it. You ask a simple question, and boom, you get a link to an FAQ page. It's frustrating. But what if I told you there's a completely new breed of AI out there? One that doesn't just answer questions, but actually has real conversations, understands your personality, and even gets your motivations? Well, today, we're going to pop the hood and see exactly how it works.
So why do we all collectively groan when we see that little chat bubble pop up? It's because most of them are, frankly, terrible. They're built to react to keywords, not to understand context or, human emotion. They're basically just glorified search bars, and they usually create more headaches than they solve. But the good news is, the failure of these basic bots has paved the way for something way, way smarter.
And this slide right here, this really gets to the heart of it. On the left, you've got your standard bot. It's a Q&A machine, it's reactive, but on the right, that's a whole different animal. That's a super sales AI. Think of it less like a help desk and more like a proactive, psychologically aware sales engine. It's not just built to answer, it's built to understand, to guide, and to persuade.
So how in the world does it actually do all that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. First, we'll take a look at the AI's core brain, its architecture. Then we're going to follow a real customer on their journey to see how it decodes their mind. After that, we'll see how it puts it all together to craft the perfect pitch, how it closes the conversation, and finally, why this creates an incredible advantage for the human sales team.
All right, first up, let's look under the hood at the AI's brain. Now, this isn't magic, even though it might feel like it. The AI's intelligence is actually built on a really clear, powerful architecture, made of two core systems that work together to create a conversation that feels, intelligent. The easiest way to think about it is like this. The 4 keys sales process, that's the map for the journey. It provides the overall structure, the main stages of the conversation. But the buying code system, that's the real-time psychological GPS. It's constantly listening to what the customer says and how they say it, and it's steering the conversation down the exact path that's going to resonate with them the most.
And here's the map itself. It's a really simple, logical, 4-step journey. The AI always starts by just building trust and rapport. Then, it moves into what is maybe the most critical phase, finding the customer's core emotional driver, their hot button. It's only after it finds that it presents a solution, one that's tailored specifically to that driver. And then, finally, it asks for a commitment. Each step builds perfectly on the last one.
Okay, so theory is great, but let's see this thing in action. We're going to follow a guy named Mark. He's a busy professional, totally overwhelmed, and he's looking for a cleaning service. He's about to start a chat with an AI chatbot named Leo. Let's see what happens.
This is step 1. Melt the ice. Now notice what Leo doesn't do. It doesn't say, "How can I help you?" It doesn't list prices or services. No, instead it asks this clever psychological priming question. It's designed to make Mark remember a positive experience, which immediately puts him in a more open, positive state of mind. It's not selling yet, it's just building a connection.
And here's where the magic starts. See, Mark just thinks he's answering a simple question, but the AI is already hard at work. It's picking out these key, value-packed words: thorough, reliable, quickly, spotless. These are the very first clues to Mark's unique buying code. The AI has already started building his profile.
All right, now we move to step 2. The AI has built some rapport. It's gathered some early clues, but now it needs to go deeper. It's time to find Mark's hot button, which is his primary motivating factor. This is the core emotional reason he's even looking for a cleaning service in the first place.
Through a few more carefully designed questions, the AI gets Mark to really open up. And there it is, the why behind the what. You see, he's not just buying a clean house. He's trying to buy a way to avoid burnout, to stop fighting with his family about chores, and actually be present with his kids. That is his primary motivating factor.
So what does the AI do with this super personal emotional information? It runs it through the buying code system. It logs his key code words. It figures out his motivation is away, meaning he's driven to move away from pain. It classifies his decision-making style as procedures. He likes clear, reliable steps. And it even notes his sensory preference is visual, since it uses words like spotless and seeing.
All of this incredible data gets stored in what are called custom user fields, or CUFs. You can just think of these as the AI's memory, its own little digital notebook on Mark. For every single person it talks to, the AI builds and stores this unique psychological fingerprint. And it's this memory that lets it go from just understanding Mark to actually persuading him.
And that brings us to the big payoff. Section 3, the perfect personalized pitch. This is where the rubber meets the road. All that data collection, all that psychological analysis, it all comes together to create a sales pitch so tailored it feels like it was written just for you. Because, well, it was.
Just listen to this pitch. Seriously. Every single highlighted word is either taken directly from Mark's own mouth or is specifically designed to appeal to his psychological profile. It talks about avoiding burnout because he's an away motivator. It uses his exact code words back to him: thorough, reliable, quickly, spotless. And it uses visual language, asking if he can see the result. This isn't some generic script. It's a mirror, reflecting his own wants and fears right back at him.
Let's just pause for a second and appreciate the genius of what's happening here. This pitch is scientifically built. It's framed for his away motivation. It weaves in his personal code words to build instant trust. It speaks his sensory language, visual, to make the benefit feel more real. And, most importantly, it connects the service directly to his primary motivating factor, that deep, emotional need to get his life back. But of course, even the most perfect pitch in the world can hit a snag. And that brings us to step 4, closing the conversation. This is where a truly intelligent AI proves its worth, not just by presenting a solution, but by navigating those final roadblocks to getting a commitment.
And there it is, the classic price objection. This is the exact moment where most chatbots would just completely fall apart. They'd probably just send you a link to the pricing page. It's where a lot of human salespeople stumble too. They get defensive or they start offering discounts. But this AI, it does something much smarter.
The AI's response is just brilliant. First, it shows empathy. I completely understand. Then it immediately pivots the conversation away from price and back to value. It doesn't argue about the cost. It reminds Mark of the pain he's desperate to solve, the burnout, the stress. It reframes the service as an investment in solving his primary motivating factor. And finally, we get to what might be the biggest advantage of this whole system. It's not just about automating one sale. It's about creating a powerful human plus AI team, where the AI's deep analysis gives the human sales force what are basically superpowers. So when Mark finally books his appointment, all of that rich psychological data, that whole profile the AI was building, it gets packaged up and sent straight to the company's CRM. So now a human salesperson doesn't just get a name and an email, they get a cheat sheet to Mark's brain. They get a deep summary of his core fears, his motivations, and the exact language that makes him tick. They know him before they ever even say hello.
And this right here, this is the key takeaway. This kind of tech isn't about replacing people. It's about making them better. The AI handles all the heavy lifting, the initial chat, the deep qualification, the psychological discovery, and that frees up the human team to do what humans do best: build real relationships, close complex deals, and provide a truly personal touch.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. In a world that is so full of noise, where every company is just shouting and broadcasting, the real advantage, the real power comes from listening. And this technology shows what's possible when you stop just talking at your customers and you start building systems that are designed from the ground up to truly deeply listen.